Hey everyone! In this tutorial, I will walk you through how to create an easy bubble text animation in Procreate Dreams. Before we get started, let's walk through the principle behind this animation. To create that bubbly wiggle effect, we will need to draw our text 3 times, and the difference in those drawings is what will give you the wiggle or line boil appearance. To start out, I'll set up a new file. For this tutorial, I will be using 12 frames per second and keeping my duration short at 3 seconds. I'm also using 4K widescreen size. Depending on your iPad, you might need to go with a smaller size like HD. Lastly, I'll tap Draw to open up the new file. And then I'll just drag on the stage to open up the flipbook mode. Next, let's get started with animating the outline of our bubble text. I'm just going to draw out the word, which I'm using hey, and then I'll tap on the second frame in the flipbook and trace over the hey. If you have the latest version, you will automatically have onion skins turned on. If it's not on, all you have to do is tap here on the timestamp and hit show onion skins. And then I'll just trace over the word, and then I'll repeat this process for the third frame. Once done, I'm going to tap the project title here to bring up the options, and within the timeline options, I will switch the playback mode to loop, so when I play the animation, it will loop continuously. Next, with the edit mode on, I will select all 3 frames and group them. Tip: naming and highlighting groups is a great way to keep your files organized and make it easier to track down elements later. Next step, we'll be adding the colors and details. To easily make the color track, I'm going to duplicate the outline group and then move it to the track below and rename accordingly. And then I'll drag the color to the outline to change its color to blue, and then I will drag it again to fill in those empty spaces inside of the outlines. Next, I will repeat this process with the other 2 frames. To give the bubble text some dimension, I'm going to add details to depict highlights and shadows. So next, I will add a new track that's in between these 2 tracks to put my highlights and shadows. And due to the current Dreams limitations, I'm going to keep my highlights and shadows on separate tracks. So I'll start by just drawing all my highlights with a light color. And I'm just drawing them around the tops of the letters where I think the light would hit them. And once I've drawn all 3 frames, I will group them and reduce the opacity. Next, I'll add a new track for the shadows. Since the light will be coming from above, I'm drawing my shadows along the bottom of the text and anywhere else where a shadow would be cast. Once done, I will combine the highlights and shadow groups into one group, and will just delete all the empty tracks to keep my file cleaned up. And once again, I'll name my new group. Next, I'm going to tap the new group and click Mask and tap Clipping Mask. This way, my shadows and highlights will only appear on the letters and won't go outside of the outline. Lastly, I'll highlight the group. This practice is super helpful with larger animation projects as it makes it easier to find specific groups when you have a ton. And the last step is to export our animation. First, I'll tap on the project title to bring up the options, and then I'll tap on Share to bring up all the export options. And so I can specify my specific video settings, I'm going to tap on Custom Settings, and I'm going to change the video codec to H.264 and the container to MP4. And then I'll just tap Export, and then we're done. To recap, we just walked through the steps for creating a bubble text animation, which included animating the outline by drawing the text 3 times, and then drawing the fill color in a new track below the outline, and lastly in a new track in between the outline and fill, I drew in the highlights and shadows to give the text dimension. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and please let me know if you enjoyed this tutorial and if there's any other animation tricks you would like to learn. See you later!